Good, so welcome to San Francisco Dharma Collective. Tonight, Thursday night, the night you all get yelled at. And it's because if you move or make a sound for the next hour, I'll yell at you and probably embarrass you. So as part of not wanting to be embarrassed, not wanting to go to one of the many thousands of Buddhist hells, check your phone right now, make sure it's off. Break it in half, throw it out, put it in a pail of water, do whatever you need so that it does not go off during this event. If you're not sure, check. The good thing about Buddhist hells is you're not there forever, just uncountable aeons, and then you get out. So it's better than Christian hell. They have a parole program. Good, so we're going to do an hour of silent meditation, silent sitting meditation. Your only requirements are to not move at all and not make a sound. Other than that, do whatever you want. I will lead a guided meditation, which you're welcome to follow along with, but if any part of it is uncomfortable, weird, disturbing, distressing, is against your religion, is somehow satanic, or whatever, don't do it. So that's on you. You have total permission to not follow along, as long as you remain perfectly still and perfectly silent. And Lord Devananda has arrived, so that's good. After many, many, many months in a cave in the Himalayas, contemplating the nature of awareness, he has returned. David? Good, so begin by settling into your meditation seat. Devananda, get in your seat. And what I want you to do is to really find that perfect spot where your body feels stable, solid, grounded, balanced, right? You're not like at an angle, you're not kind of teetering, you don't feel unstable, it feels really boom, super grounded. Sitting like a mountain. So just find that perfect Dhyānasana, your sitting posture. For those on the floor, you want your hips rotated just a little forward so that your knees are below your hips. That's important. Your lower back has that nice curve in it. And then for everyone, your shoulders are relaxed, they're open, they're loose, they're down. They're not hiked up around your ears, they are down and back, rotated open, totally at ease. And then we need to open the back of our neck a little bit because it has a curve there too. So the idea is that your chin is not horizontal or above, it's a little below horizontal. It's just pointed down just enough until you feel the back of your neck open. And then there's this sense that you're kind of, this is just a visualization or an imaginary exercise, but there's a sense that at the very top of your head you are hanging by a string. So your whole body is just suspended by a string to the ceiling, so it's kind of hanging in a perfect line downward. Right? Very, very balanced, posed, elegant. In one way, just by sitting down, in many traditions it is said that we are expressing our inherent Buddhahood, and that taking the posture of meditating is expressing that, right? So sit like a Buddha, expressing your inherent, already existing, total awakened nature, as it were. Good, so what I'd like you to begin doing at this point is deep, slow belly breathing. Breathe in such a way that your belly is actually expanding visibly on the in-breath. Long, 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 deep, deep, deep in-breath. If you want to, you can hear people doing ujjayi breathing. That's okay during this part where like your throat hisses. Genevieve's going to imagine everyone's a rattlesnake. And just kind of, right, this hissing sound in your throat. That kind of makes the breath more even. So breathing in, breathing out. If you want to, you can use the labels, breathing in on the in-breath, breathing out on the out-breath. Right? So your belly's expanding and contracting. And you're enjoying that deeply. It feels good to breathe, but also you are concentrating on the body sensations of that breathing. You're feeling very clearly the belly expanding on the in-breath. You're feeling very clearly the belly contracting on the out-breath. And you may notice that when I say belly, I'm using like a little bit broader of a term because it doesn't just mean in front, it means on the side and even back by the kidneys. You can feel the kidney region on either side of the spine also expanding and contracting with the breath. So really, really focus on those body sensations there. Using the labels, breathing in and breathing out if those help you. The rest of your body is utterly relaxed, loose, open, at ease, perfectly at rest, as limp and open as a wet rag. Zero tension. No tension in your eyes, no tension in your jaw. Your throat is open, shoulders, hands relaxed. Loose and open. If you want to up the ante on this, make it a little more intense, a little more focused, a little more transformative. Make the out-breath noticeably longer than the in-breath. 1/3 longer, a half again as long, even twice as long, whatever feels comfortable to you. But you'll notice after a while as you get all focused, there will be this tendency for the out-breath to kind of go on for a long time. And that feels natural and good for some people. Don't do it if it doesn't feel good. Now we're going to sit and do this for a while. So when I say don't move, I mean don't move. Don't scratch your face, don't crack your knuckles, don't move your feet, don't drink water, don't stretch your neck, don't move. If for some unforeseen catastrophic emergency you must move, then do it very, 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 very extremely slowly and perfectly silently with infinite, precise mindfulness. If the building catches on fire, I'll let you know and we'll rescind that rule. getting more and more clear, more and more focused, staying bright, crisp, vivid, moving very silently, if we're moving at all. Continuing to contact these sensations of deep belly breathing, getting more and more relaxed and open, more and more focused and deep. Now you can return to breathing normally. And I want you to contact vast, spacious awareness. If that's easy for you to do, just do it. Otherwise, explore the back of your head. Feel the back of your head until you find a spot with nothing there. When you find, now you're just doing this with your mind, right? Just imagining, feeling the back of your head. And when you find a spot that feels open or blank or empty, just allow awareness to just jump out of that into just vast, spacious awareness. And as we contact this vast, spacious awareness, we notice several things. It is, like the name implies, it is vast, it is huge, it is boundless, it is awake, it is bright, it is very... And I want you to just allow awareness to continue to further and further and further until there's nothing anywhere except to it. Further and further and further out into this infinite, boundless space of awareness. Further, further, further into consciousness, bright, clear, vivid wakefulness. With no content whatsoever. Thoughts may be happening somewhere, but you're not noticing those. Feelings may be happening somewhere, you're not noticing those. External sensations may be happening somewhere, you're not noticing those. Just vast space, peace, stillness. just allowing the mind to rest in this basic nature of awareness, fundamental ground of awareness. Good. Now with this bright, clear, vivid, awake awareness, just allow yourself to notice anything arising, any sensory experience arising, but notice something special about it, which is that sensory experiences arising in awareness are like dreams. They're like phantoms or some kind of projection. So if there's a sensation of the body, notice that it's like a dream of a body sensation. If there's a thought that arises, it's like some kind of creation of a thought. If there's external sounds or sights that you hear or see, notice that they're like appearances in a dream. In terms of awareness itself, everything of the self in the world is like dream. It's just an appearance in awareness. So no matter what's arising, just notice that phantasmagoric quality of it, the sense that it's like a projection in a theater or a hallucination or a fantasy. And furthermore, notice this is not something you have to do to it. You don't have to somehow make it into that. It already has this quality of dreamlike nature. In fact, the thing that we tend to do to it is pretend that it's solid, pretend that it's real, pretend that it's something, when in actuality it's more like a dream of something. Like if we were projecting a movie on a fog bank. Now, we're not saying that you don't exist or the world doesn't exist. Probably there's a real you and a real world out there, but in terms of experience, in terms of awareness, these sensory arisings, both external and internal, have that quality of dreamlike projection, dreamlike unreality, so that they can be vivid and bright and even intense, but they also have this quality of insubstantiality and semi-there-ness. So keep tuning into that part of it, the dreamlike insubstantiality of whatever arises in consciousness, whether it's a body sensation, whether it's a thought, an emotion. It's just a dream and completely insubstantial, imaginary and temporary. if for whatever reason you find your mind becoming caught up in a thought, caught up in a feeling, caught up in an external experience, just go back to noticing that all of that is just a fantasy or like a dream. It's a projection and awareness. Totally insubstantial, totally ephemeral, totally impermanent, almost not there at all. Notice whatever you're giving a quality of reality right now, and just instead notice its dreamlike nature. If you're uncomfortable, notice the ephemerality and unreality of the discomfort. If you're caught up in some fantasy of the future or past, notice that is definitely just a dream. Utterly unreal. Good. Now look for where this awareness is coming from. What is the source of the awareness? What is the light of the stream? Can the awareness be aware of the awareness? Look hard now. Keep looking, keep looking. Don't give up. Find the source of the awareness. Notice you can't do this by deciding, how a body works and how a brain works and thinking about that. That's all just a waste of time. Look directly at your experience. Where does the awareness come from? Notice that the harder you look, the less you find. If you do this fervently with a lot of clarity, you will just notice nothing. Your mind will settle on just nothing. Not a thought, not a feeling, not a sensory experience at all, just nothing. Not even space, not even vastness, just nothing. Now just sit, doing nothing at all. Zero effort, zero doing. Good. Now, as we end the meditation, you can feel free to move and stretch. Open your eyes, orient yourself to the room. In just a few moments, we'll turn on the rest of the lights again, so it'll get brighter. So be prepared for that. Thank you, David. To do this, you have to go back to like first principles. You have to go back to your own experience directly. If you try to do this as a plan or a thought from the mind or some kind of model or some kind of understanding or some kind of learning or teaching or thing you read or whatever, it doesn't work because you're just remaining involved in concepts. And we love concepts. Concepts are awesome. They're super useful. They're really handy for doing everything we love to do. But for this particular way of meditating, you just can't use them. And so every way that you attempt to figure this out or think of how to position yourself just right or understand it somehow or do something with your attention, just that none of that works. Because that's all after the thing we're trying to look at. Concepts arise in awareness, right? The only way you even know a concept is there is because of awareness. So trying to use the concepts to somehow see the awareness, it just is a failure mode. But we all do it. And I did it myself for a very, very long time, really. Would just get it, right? And getting it is understanding in the sense of a concept, right? I'm just going to get it like I get a concept, and then I will have the thing. And that turns out to just not work. And it's a wonderful way to chase your tail and get frustrated and think that you're doing something, just drop all that. Working that way is great for solving every kind of problem, but awareness is no problem. And it's not something you can figure out, and it's not something you're trying to solve. It's the basis of all that. So it's below all that. Before there's a concept, there's awareness. Before there's a person trying to have a concept, there's awareness. Before there's something you're trying to solve, before there's a problem, before there's a thing you're trying to get, before there's a technique you're trying to do, before, awareness is already there. It doesn't need all that. And in fact, all of that is just a giant, hairball of distraction. It's just cough it up. Get rid of it. Cough up the hairball. It is not going to do you any good to keep it in there trying to understand with it. It's just in the way. So instead, every time you notice yourself doing that, you drop it. Right? Drop the ball. Cough up the hairball. Stop it. And just come back to just awareness. It's already there. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't need you to make it. It doesn't need you to, notice it, doesn't need you, it's already there. And so, we have these various techniques that I'm showing you over week after week after week after week of ways to notice it. Wow, that sounds really delicious. I'll have a drink too now. It's like a beer commercial. Yeah, I'm showing you these techniques and they're helpful, but you could throw all of them out the window and just notice awareness. And then continue to notice awareness, and then after that, continue to notice awareness. It's already there. What's noticing awareness? Awareness is noticing awareness. So in a way, there's nothing to do. That's why in a lot of the traditions, that's the meditation technique, like what we did at the very, very end. Just don't do anything at all. If you sit there long enough not doing anything at all, I mean long enough, it might take days. Eventually, you'll just be sitting in awareness. You can't help it. Because that's what's there. Now, what's interesting to me is, we get all traditional into like Mahayana Buddhism. We could call this awareness a couple different things. We could call it alaya. I like that word, alaya. Sounds like somebody's name or something. But it means abode. An abode. So Himalaya means the abode of snow. Right? The Himalayan mountains are the place of snow, the home of snow, the abode of snow. So they just call it alaya, and they mean like the bottom of consciousness, the ground of being, the basis. You can also call it Tathagatagarbha. Anybody care to translate that word?
Buddha nature?
That would be the English word for it, but what about the translation of it? Garbha. Garbha is a womb, as in the thing babies are gestated inside, right? Womb. Tathagata is a Buddha, or a literary, somebody who went to gone, somebody who went to nirvana. So Tathagata went there to the goneness, and Garbha, womb. So the womb of the Buddhas, right? In English, we usually call it Buddha nature. Probably because we can't handle or couldn't handle the idea of female Buddhas with wombs. But Tathagatagarbha, the womb of the Buddhas, right? Buddha nature. Or alaya, the abode. It is just the awareness itself. What's fascinating about this is everything, but in various Buddhist traditions, they interpret this differently. Like if we're in Chittamatra, the mind-only tradition, and there's a couple other ones, but Chittamatra, in English we call it mind-only. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it means mind-mother, again, female image, but in English we can't handle that, so it's mind-only. And in that tradition, the idea is that there really isn't anything at all. Like, really no outside world at all. There's just mind. That's why it's called mind only. And dreams arising in the mind. So this alaya, this Tathagatagarbha, that's it. And everything's just a dream. And we even have some nice quotes from the Buddha, even in the Pali Canon, literally saying everything's a dream, right? So they use that to just, not as a metaphor, but just as, that's it. Other Buddhist traditions say, no, there really is an outside world with people and animals and places and things, but you're experiencing it in your mind. You're experiencing it through this awareness. And that is your experience of it is a kind of dream, a kind of hallucination, a kind of projection. And that's the dreamlike nature, right? And that's how I tend to view it. You know, if we go back, if we let go of concepts, let go of all this history, let go of all these words, and just go to your own experience, it's obviously a dream. It's obviously a projection in your mind. And so that's what you want to notice, like that dreamlike nature. Things are vivid, things are bright, things are incredibly crisp and kind of shocking and real and poignant, and at the same time, they're sort of not there at all. They're kind of just this thing that then goes away, right? Over and over and over. And there's a thing you do after that, which is imbue it with thingness, imbue it with solidity, imbue it with this sense of permanence and solidity and ongoingness and all that. And that turns out to be handy because, you know, there is a world out there and, you know, you're going to tend to interact with it in that way. But that's after the fact. That's after the direct experience of just this shockingly vivid, strange dream that's happening only in the mind. And one of the weirdest things about that, again, looking at that directly just in your own experience, if you keep letting go of the ideas of things being located here and there, and solid and real, but instead they're not located anywhere and they're ephemeral dreams, you'll notice very clearly that even the sense of there being a person at all is just another ephemeral dream. The sense of anybody doing anything, the sense of anybody perceiving anything, all in part of the dream. And that's when it can, you know, that's all after the fact. And so you can just let that go, drop that, and just be in awareness. And then, interestingly, and this is super weird, even awareness is not a thing. You know, that's not an object, that's not somehow the one real thing, that's empty too. So like we did as part of this, you try to find the source of awareness, try to find the awareness itself, you can't. It just disappears. If you really did that really strongly, very often you'll go into a kind of a jhana, right? You'll just maybe see a light, and then there'll just be nothing. Or you might just notice nothing. But that investigation is worth doing. Try to find the awareness itself. It's just, even that isn't real. First person, subjective investigation. The more you try to do it, the more layers you put on it, the further you are away from it. So like I've said, week after week after week after week, the only reason people have a hard time with this, it's too simple, it's too obvious, it's too easy, and you don't believe it. Even when you contact it, which is in every moment, continuously, you can't believe that's it, because it's too simple, it's too obvious, it's too easy. So I'll tell you again, you're contacting it now, that's it. It's not that big a deal. But once you get good at contacting it, then it starts to really rearrange your experience of yourself in the world in a very positive, powerful, beautiful way. And we get empowered and come back into the world, you know, more bright, more vivid, more alive, and filled with a lot of connection and joy with others, right? It's very interesting how it affects your psychology. There is a thing that can happen where you get too into it. You know, it's too ephemeral, it's just awareness all the time, the world isn't real. Some people call that emptiness poisoning. Because another word for all this is emptiness, right? But you can see how you could get just so attracted to just everything being a dream that you kind of just sort of vague out into that spacious awareness all the time, in an unproductive and unhelpful way. So let me know if that's happening for you. Like, you're tending to not want to engage. Because if you are, if you take just even the next step, the engagement will just be total. So there's like an in-between spot where you can kind of hide out in the world's most ultimate spiritual bypassing. It's all just a dream. Everyone's suffering is just a dream. The people I'm killing are just dreams. That, it's like ultimate spiritual bypass, right? Everything's a dream. And so that's not good. But just the very next step, pow, surprise! The world, very vivid, very bright, super beautiful, very engaged, everything, both there and not there, hyper real and not even real at all, and extremely beautiful, and it's like your heart is blown open the whole time. Right? There's like a permanent gaping hole in your heart. It's just awake and sensitive and alive to others. So even though there can be this very important noticing of the ephemerality, the dreamlike nature of everything, you don't want to somehow start conceptualizing other people as not real, or animals as not real, or the suffering of beings as not real. Right? That's called being a sociopath. So that's not a good place to hang out. Good, so questions, comments, reports, arisings of pure Buddha nature, anything like that?
How long was that meditation?
It was infinite. There was no time component.
Yeah. Oh, infinite.
Good. It was an hour.
1 hour.
Yes. What is your name? Hi, Lisa.
My first time here.
Welcome.
So you said this kind of meditation? What is this kind of meditation?
The kind I'm teaching. So for the past many months, I've been kind of leading people in this particular direction. So previously, we were doing quite a bit, in my class anyway, quite a bit of very complex, precise, vigorous Vipassana meditation. And we did several years of that, and now we're working with that spacious awareness, emptiness, and so on. So, Laura.
Why did you have a switch in the end from that spacious awareness to just doing nothing?
Well, and there was something in between, which was noticing nothing, right?
Noticing the source, which was
And then just nothing. Because I just wanted to, having people end a meditation focused on nothing, especially if anyone happened to go very deep with that, might be a little bit hard to come out of. So I'm giving people time to sort of reorient to the universe. It can be a little intense. Sometimes if you're looking for the source of awareness, this just happens sometimes for some people, but again, sometimes it just goes into nothing. Sometimes it's a cessation, sometimes you'll see like very slowly this light will arise in your mind, and it's just this big light, and then it goes to, and all kinds of, it gets really focused very quickly. So just giving people time to come back, if anything like that occurred. Yes, Cara.
I didn't have that experience.
Yeah, well, you never do, so.
I was looking for the source of awareness.
What'd you find?
I felt like all of this sensory experience was aware of itself. And that was the source,
What was?
all sensory experience.
Okay, where was that?
It was arising from, I guess, from awareness.
Look for the place it's arising from.
Okay,
Yeah, you were almost there. Just go.
should have asked during the meditation.
Yes. I wouldn't have totally yelled at you or anything. David?
So I feel like when I step kind of out of the back of my head, it's usually not that, I don't see the connection, so I can kind of focus on areas where I don't sense any sensation,
Uh-huh.
and then I just kind of like flop it back into, or whatever, into more like just open awareness, and that doesn't feel like I went from, like it's connected, like that didn't really grow or anything, like I could have just started it out in awareness.
Right, so do you remember exactly what I said?
No.
I said, go to vast spacious awareness if you can just do that. And then I said, but if you want a technique, then try doing this thing with the back of your head. Just go to the vast space. If the technique is in the way, fuck it. It's just one of a million stupid ways to kind of walk yourself there. But really, it's already there. There's nothing to do. So if it's easy for you to just do it, be with it, with no technique, awesome.
Okay, and does it really feel infinite necessarily? It feels like kind of the space that's there, so like it sounds right there in it, but
The actual word I would use, and I did say it a couple times, is boundless. So infinite is like kind of too precise in a way. It just doesn't have a boundary. I have many people, well, is it really infinite? No, asshole. It's boundless, okay, yeah. Just kidding, friends. Yes. Yes.
So, if I'm having this meditation, I'm like really uncomfortable, and
But you were moving really mindfully, so thank you. Like, not just this thoughtless fidgeting, you're taking the time to move really slowly,
I'm
like
to
I,
dodge the bullet.
yeah, well, notice you're getting praised.
Okay, yeah, that's gold.
Yep, thank you for doing that.
But in my mind, I'm like going, I totally, like doing this equanimity thing, I totally accept this discomfort and this thing. And is that like the technique that you're talking about, that technique of walking yourself to just being aware? Like that?
Is acceptance the technique?
Yeah.
That's not the one we did, but that's certainly one of them.
What?
That is not the technique. Follow the equanimity into awareness if you do it completely enough.
Okay.
Vast spacious awareness has perfect equanimity, nothing bothers it. So you can kind of walk yourself there in that way too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now just sit in that not making sense. Now you're much closer to vast spacious awareness.
Okay, I cannot now.
Good. What else?
Feel like I'm,
Are you raising your hand, Devananda? Oh, hi.
I feel like I'm a little out of practice. When you were giving prompts of what to do something, it felt very nice and good. I could do that. But when you said, don't do anything, I kind of freaked out.
Cool. What did that look like?
I didn't know what to do.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Well, don't do anything.
Then I started thinking, I just kept trying to, I was noticing me doing things.
Yeah,
And then,
and stop doing them.
yeah. And I would stop and then I would maybe
So stop and stay stopped. That's the not doing. Right? And if you keep doing, then just stop, keep stopping.
It was really fun, thank you.
You're so welcome. Nice to see you again. Other comments, questions, reports? Yes, Nick. Welcome. It's Nick's first evening here at the San Francisco Dharma Collective.
So is it typical to feel like I'm constantly chasing this conscious awareness and constantly trying to extinguish my thoughts, or thoughts about sensations? Is that
Did you notice any point in the meditation where I said, extinguish your thoughts? You did? I said those words?
well,
You said it. Thoughts can continue to happen the whole time. That you're just not grabbing onto them. So don't worry about thinking at all. It doesn't matter how much is happening. It's just not what you're contacting or concentrating on. So if you're chasing after them and trying to extinguish them, that's all actually totally focusing on your thoughts. So just let that go during the vast space part. And then the part where we were noticing the ephemerality, that might be interesting. I haven't heard anyone talk about that. Anyone have anything to say about their experience of the dreamlike nature of stuff arising? Amanda does.
It's funny that you led this meditation tonight because I just got back from a retreat.
What retreat did you go to?
It was a koan retreat with a koan teacher from the Zen tradition. And the
What is the
koan-
meaning? Okay, go ahead.
Well, we were the whole time, basically, the koan was this kind of long story that I want to say, but it was basically, it boiled down to, am I dreaming?
Mm-hmm.
So the entire week retreat was just kind of climbing inside that question. And it really just allowed everything to be as ephemeral and shimmery and not really there as it always kind of was.
Yeah.
It like gave that permission to really come into the forefront. And
How was that?
it was totally amazing and scary. And I guess I am, you were talking after the meditation was over about connecting back into the world and that feeling of open-heartedness and connection, and I think I'm kind of stuck in a dreamy spot that's sort of disorienting.
Mm-hmm. So a couple things. Awesome that you went on a retreat. Sounds really cool. Good work. As you start to really approach deepening this and broadening this, like let's say you're pretty good at contacting vast spacious awareness, you want to increase your contact in 3 different ways, right? You want to make it deeper, so deeper and deeper, because at first maybe you're contacting it with just a little bit, so you want to make it deeper, 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 deeper. You also want to make it like broader, so more kinds of experience. Vast spacious awareness at the drive-up window, vast spacious awareness while you're water skiing, vast spacious awareness, in the boxing ring, like that. So depth, breadth, and then just more time, more numbers of minutes per day. Right? So we're increasing our contact in many ways. But one of the things that happens as you're doing that more and more, which of course in your retreat you were doing it a lot, you can feel disoriented, you can feel like you're falling, you can feel nauseated, you can feel really afraid. Because everything the ground is falling from under me, both metaphorically and maybe even really. What's the antidote? You know what I'm going to say?
No.
those things aren't real either. The fear is just ephemeral as anything else. The total disorientation is as ephemeral as anything else. The feeling of falling is ephemeral as anything else. Just get used to it. And then all of a sudden something crazy will happen, which is that just has this like true, like it's like a diamond. It's so solid and it just. But yeah, so you've been directed, you know, attention's directed towards the ephemerality. But are you noticing, even with the ephemeral world, your own vulnerability and sensitivity? Yeah, that's the key. So the vulnerability, the sensitivity, the openness, the nakedness, well, that's how you connect back with others. Right? That's the doorway back in. Like as they're arising in their shimmering ephemerality, notice that sensitivity, the vulnerability, the openness, the nakedness, the bareness, and that instantly there will be connection. Right? So that's all. Don't hide that. Just, one of the funny secrets of Buddhism is that, you know, you're having this open-heartedness, this nakedness, this vulnerability, this sensitivity all the time, which turns out to be like a super brave thing to do, to bring that level of vulnerability into every situation. So that's the key. And if you want to be a little techniquey about it for a while because you've been focusing on going to the space, going into the dream, instead spend some time noticing the arisings out of the dream, so back into the world. That explosive, vibrant quality of reality. Surprise! Then it starts to be very engaging.
Yeah, I have been walking around with that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, awesome. Good work. Are you raising your hand? Or you're maybe thinking about raising your hand? Okay, there it is.
Helen.
Hi, Helen.
Maybe the word that I would say I feel is liveness, live.
As in alive?
Maybe
Yeah, good.
to get pre-conceptual. And I would say at the report that doing this continuously also has changed my creative practice.
Good. How? In what way?
Instead of thinking of it as work, it's play in a way that you were just describing about the sensitivity, and more relational than about product.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. I mean, this whole thing it sounds kind of like solipsistic and like you're going to disappear up your own mind, right? Up the whole of your own mind. But I'm just holding back on what I'm really going to say, but you guys can just go there. And it's like, but actually it's super relational, right? It's really, if you go there with the sensitivity and openness, it will become hyper-relational.
But the feeling,
But,
I don't know if I feel awareness or not. Is it alive? I mean, can you feel it?
are you having an experience?
A feeling
Are you having an experience?
during it?
Ever?
I'm alive.
Okay, but are you aware of that fact? Yeah, that's awareness, right? There's lights in this room right now. Oh, awareness. So I mean, it's too simple, it's too obvious, it's too easy, you don't believe it. I'll just keep battering this into everyone's head until we're all noticing our already existing, totally awake Buddhahood, which we're now going to meditate upon for a very short time. So again, array yourself in a posture that expresses the infinitely awake, totally compassionate Buddha you already are. And just be that. Good. So I think it is time for SBC announcements.
Hi, you guys. Thank you for coming out tonight. And I need to sit next to you to
Yep.
say hi. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us too. And if you are nearby, but you just couldn't get up and get down here next week, come down here. And if you're in Boston or Dallas or some other place, you're forgiven for not being here. But come by when you're in town. The rest of you guys, thank you. Great group to see a bunch of people tonight that I haven't seen before, so that's fantastic. As Michael was mentioning, maybe you mentioned it tonight, you usually mention it, we are a volunteer-run organization, so the reason this place exists is because of the generosity of people like you. And if you're interested in being a part of it, more than sitting here, please sign up to volunteer. We have a sign-up sheet over there. And we need volunteers not just to host and greet people at the door, but we have other things as well, like we're looking for someone to help us with our website, bunch of other stuff. So if you are interested, talk to myself, talk to Genevieve, she's waving. Who else is here tonight? Dean. There's Dean. He's not here. Yeah, some people are off tonight. But we'd love to have you join us. And if you'd like to give, if you didn't on your way in, please feel free to do so on your way out. I can help you, or Dave can help you, and we do Venmo and PayPal out there, and cards and cash. So thank you so much, and please think about joining us tomorrow night. We're going to have Mike Crowley. He is one of the advisors to the Psychedelic Sangha, and he's been doing a series on the 3 vehicles and 6 refuges. He's a fascinating speaker. On Saturday, I believe we have Mimi Monsier doing more with the Mind Illuminated practice. She's doing half day long. And then on Sunday, we've got a new Dharma recovery group that's going to be meeting here at 5:30 from 5 until 6:30. And then Sutra study with Michael Owens at 7. So hope to see you there. Check our website if you didn't memorize or write down every single thing I just said. Thank you again tonight.
Thank you. Saturday, August 10th, we'll have Death Sangha here, which is, please show up if you want to do some pretty intense, fairly disturbing, serious meditation on death, dying, and stuff like that. That's kind of not for the faint of heart. So I'm looking forward to Death Sangha coming up again in about 10 days. And then I'll be here with Vince Horn. Vince Horn and I will lead a day-long on August, is it 28th? No, it's the 24th, that's right, August 24th, Saturday. And we will be doing a day-long on the concept of meta-dharma, which is pretty interesting. So if you want to spend a day both learning and practicing in the evolving meta-dharma tradition, then come here with me and Vince.
1 T or 2?
That is 1T. And as in beyond the Dharma. And then a new thing that just got confirmed yesterday is that on the weekend of November 8th, so the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, and then Monday the 11th, that will be the Vajrapani weekend that I'll lead for everyone. So come on down to the mountains near Santa Cruz and we'll do a 3-day retreat there. Okay? So see you all next week.
I listened to part 2 with Vince today.
Yes.
I have to listen to the part 1 on his.
On his, was it
Is
okay?
it his? Yeah, I thought it was good.